Hello, Superior YMCA. I am Jen, your Health and Wellness Director, and I'm here with Ashley and Jill. How are we doing this morning, ladies?
Good.
Good.
Good. Hope you guys at home are doing just as well. We got another wellness talk plan for you today. We're going to talk about low repetitions compared to high repetitions, less weight, more weight. A lot of questions that we've been asked as personal trainers here. So let's start there. Let's just start with, I have tons of people ask me, like, when you're weight training, like, should you do less weight, more reps? Should you do more weight and power lift and do, 3 or 4 reps, things like that? And obviously this is going to be very similar to when we talked about strength versus cardio. Always focus on your goal. That's going to help be planning that a little bit better, and to always work with both, but we're going to kind of break those down a little for you. So what's your experience, either of you guys here? Jill, you can hop on in with low reps versus high reps, like your personal experience, what people have asked you.
Just kind of what I know from my personal training, like kind of it's fresh in my mind still, but I was taught that, having high reps with low weight just for kind of like toning and building up endurance, and then having, low reps with high weight to build up that muscle. But for me personally, I have to have a combination of both. Like, I like doing a combination of both. And, and if you do, a lot of people come up to me and ask, well, if I just do like high weights and low reps, like, am I going to be the Hulk? No, you're not going to be the Hulk. Like, you will, gain more muscle, you might be more defined in that, but you're not gonna be the Hulk. That's kind of just where my mind's at and what I'm like fresh in my mind from my class and everything. But I think a combination of both of them is fine. And I was doing a little reading for this, and they did a research study, and it said a person doing like heavy weightlifting and a person just strictly doing cardio lost the same amount of weight, but the one lifting weights lost more fat compared to the one doing cardio, where they just lost fat and muscle. So you don't want to lose that muscle, so having a combination of both I think is really good. But that's kind of where I'm at with that.
I feel like that comment was directed strictly at me, Jill, since I don't like to lift weights. So I'm just kidding.
Wasn't it directing it towards anyone?
For those of you that only do cardio, you're not. That's funny.
I see you tossing weights,
Tossing them, just throwing them.
Because they're usually not heavy enough. That's why I'm tossing them. Listen here on the technical textbook that you had in front of your face 2 seconds ago.
Right. She's going to get real technical with us.
No.
College grad.
It like what you said at the beginning, Jen, it just comes down to, what your goals are, and the combination of them isn't bad, and doing one of them isn't bad. But if you're looking for certain results, you can't expect, kind of like Jill was saying, to be the Hulk if you're lifting like 12 to 15 repetitions of like 5 to 10 pound weights. Like, that's just not how it works. So if you're looking to really gain that, like, I don't know, I don't want to say like bodybuilder type of muscle, but just that kind of general picture, right, of like having those more visible kind of muscles, then you have to adjust, what you're doing to fit that need. And so whether that's, I think what a lot of, especially probably males that are back in the weight room, like, they're looking for hypertrophy. They're looking for their muscles to get bigger, because our muscles, we can't get more muscle fibers, but we can make the ones that we have bigger, right? So it's kind of like that medium range of, like, I think they say it's like 6 to 12 reps, somewhere in there, with kind of a moderate to heavier weight. And that's where you're going to start to see, those big biceps or other areas that you're trying to, increase. But I think for the general population, we should be more focused on, muscular endurance, which is like what you talked about, Joe, the higher reps and the lower weight. And that's going to help tone your muscles too, make them nice and long and strong. And then also strength, right? Because we don't want to be like, just thinking of like daily activities and things. Like you don't want to only ever be lifting 5 to 10 pounds, because what happens when you need to move your couch across your room, right, Jen? Like you want to be
Exactly.
able, you want to be able to do those maximal efforts and then those like repetitive things, because most of our life is repetitive small motions. So it's all up to your goals.
Absolutely. I think I was really fighting the urge to find a picture of what The Rock looked like right now so you guys could see what exactly big biceps look like. But if you're curious, just search The Rock and you'll be amazed for about 2 seconds. You know, and she's like, don't search The Rock. Yeah, I think that it's really important too. Like, I think we kind of get stereotyped where males are going to be the ones that are lifting heavier weights, and like the females are over here working more on endurance, where you only see them with 8-pound weights. But I think there's a time and place for both, absolutely, in females and in men. I can just tell you for, you know, an example too, like Justin is not a big, like heavy weightlifter with the amount of weight that's on his bar. Because we have that fitness instructor background, I think we are more trained for that endurance side of things. And so don't get me wrong, he lifts way heavier than I do, but not like maybe I don't want to say a typical gentleman in the back either, but some of those guys back there, we know it, they're literally hulking it out back there and grunting away. But I think repetition for me, endurance is always more important. I don't know if I want to, you know, if I could lift a heavy object or I could run, you know, a half marathon. I think the endurance side of things for me is more of my focus. So that's generally why I search that lighter, lighter weights, more repetition kind of style. But women too, because they say they don't want to look like the Hulk, right? So they want lean, strong muscle. So we generally prescribe to people those less weight, more repetition exercises, focus on that endurance, again, depending on what people's goals are, but still encouraging like those women or anybody to add more weight. Don't just stick with the 5 to 8 pounds where you do it 3 reps and you're good and like you don't feel a burn anymore. Then you need to graduate up to a little bit higher and still keep so you can still build that strength. A couple things too that I wanted to note here as a reminder, because I forget too, that 80% of any weight loss or any nutrition based is off of your diet. 80%. So
I
only
read that
20% comes from your exercise. And I think it's a huge reminder, because we kind of think that I work out 6 hours a day, I can eat whatever I want. That's not really the case. So even if you're wanting to build muscle, you need to be putting that nutrients in to support that muscle that you're trying to build. Same thing with weight loss. So keeping that ratio consistent of 80% is about your diet, 20% is about your actual physical exercise to get the results that you're looking for. I need to remind myself of that, because I think it's like 99% exercise, 1% diet. And trust me, this quarantine, I'm feeling fluffy. It's hitting in. So I'm definitely going back to that 80-20 a little bit better here. So a couple things that I wrote down too with some of my research, which is just going to be review here, and then we'll kind of pass it off to the girls again. High reps help you lose weight and make muscle more toned. That's the word that we hear a lot, that we want to be toned, coming from personal trainers. I think all of us can say, like, every client we have says they want to tone their arms. They want to, you know, just be stronger. Whereas a low reps can help you build muscle and increase strength. It's actually smart to utilize both concepts, which is kind of what we were saying, it's that balance back and forth of high and low rep ranges in your workouts if you want to build muscle, lose fat, or simply just improve overall physical fitness. So definitely keeping that combination. Same thing with strength and cardio. It's just like this sandwich and layering effect of success. Just about any rep range is effective for putting on muscle, which I thought was interesting too, as we try to weigh both sides, gaining strength and fat loss. However, in terms of time effective, safety, and overall effectiveness, the optimal rep range for greatest change in body composition is between 8 to 15 reps. So I thought that was kind of interesting too. So for the best success, the best results that you're going to get are between 8 to 15 reps, excuse me. whether you're, you know, if you're doing more weight, it's obviously gonna be a little lower. If you're doing higher weight, excuse me, other way around. Higher weight, more weight, you do less reps, and then on the other side of that scale. And then to reminding myself that these words in my brain, like low reps with high weight, increase your strength, whereas the high reps with low weight will increase your endurance. So working on what you would like to improve. So like, then Ashley, I'm going to pass it over to you too here. Obviously we can say like, if we're trying to increase our strength, that is just obvious. It's going to be like, you want to bench more, you want to squat more, maybe you're in like a bodybuilding competition, something like that. But what would be an example then for like, if you want to increase your endurance, like with the weight training side, what would be something that you're training for on the endurance besides life?
I mean, I think for cardio athletes, like say you're a marathon runner, a cyclist, any type of that kind of area, because you don't want to put on bulky muscle like you would with those lower reps, higher weight, because that's going to slow you down in terms of what you're trying to accomplish in like your races or what that kind of your focus is. But at the same time, if you're not using those muscles that are either complementing, you know, what your main workout is, or if you're just repetitively running or repetitively cycling or whatever it may be, rowing, you're more prone to get injured. So I think that the muscular endurance part of it, like we said, especially if women don't want to get like bulky or whatever, but I think also too, like women have to kind of get it through their brains that like we don't have a lot of testosterone in our body, which is like one of the biggest things for building muscle in terms of like that volume of muscle. So like we can like take a step back and a chill pill that like we're not going to get jacked because we lift heavier, whether that's muscular endurance and we've built up and we're like, oh, I'm at 15 pounds, and it's like, well, you're still doing like 12 or so reps, but they're like freaking out that they're going to become The Rock or whatever.
I think too, a good visual for people, like, again, you can go online, like we say The Rock for like men because that's like ridiculous, they're like huge, but I think if you look at like females that are CrossFitters and to see what their muscle definition looks like, and there's some women that might feel like they look like the Hulk. I will, my personal opinion, I'm not as attracted to that look, and that's no offense to anybody that loves CrossFit and wants to do CrossFit. CrossFit's great, not putting anything negative out there about it, but for my own personal body, I lean more towards like a yoga Pilates style body that I would prefer myself to look like, opposed to, I don't really need a six pack. I don't need quads that could crush Justin's skull. Which is great. There's some people that are just super strong, and that's awesome. Everyone got a visual there. I'm so sorry. But it's super cool to like to compare, because I think when we think of like the Hulk, we think of the male version, as women are like, I don't want to get big like that. But if you would show them one of these like really strong athletic CrossFit females, they might be like, oh, well, that, like, I wouldn't mind looking like that. So also finding what you're considering the Hulk, what you're, you know, and I don't know if some of those CrossFit women, I don't believe in CrossFit, you can like, I don't want to even say this, but you can use any, not saying anyone uses steroids, but like any supplements to enhance that. I don't really know because I don't know anything about it, but I think that helps too, because like CrossFit's such a huge trend, and women, I think overall want to be empowered and feel strong, and that's just our own like mental thing right now too. But you can be all those things and not look like The Rock, right? Unless you're just testosterone. We don't need to do that. I know you guys are still like visualizing me crushing his skull with my thighs, but
crushing a watermelon. There you go. I actually seen a video of that. It's kind of disturbing. of a female doing that. I'm like, that's not right.
Some strong legs. I would be like, you know what, and it looks great. Like, I mean, I think it's attractive. Anybody that's in shape, it's huge. It shows great determination and commitment to any athlete, whether you're a runner, you're a CrossFitter, you're a bodybuilder, anything that you do, gymnast, whatever. It just shows like discipline, which I think is really like attractive because it's hard to be disciplined. It shows consistency and passion towards something. So I just personally don't want to buy a pair of jeans that I can't fit my legs into. It's hard enough to buy clothes that fit. So no, they wear all those short shorts because they can't get anything else around their thighs. We're getting off topic. Sorry, guys. Like week 3 on quarantine, and it's getting real weird. If you guys are not on Facebook, you know, we shaved Justin's head, so that's cool. If you aren't on Facebook, you wouldn't even see this anyway. So
we can see it on YouTube. Stop hating.
Oh yes, on YouTube. It's just getting all real weird up in here. So yeah. But
moving on.
Our focus today was to give you some general information of like maybe what each style of weight training benefits, what the pros and cons of each side are, and kind of answer some personal goals for yourself, like how you personally like to lift. So we'll kind of move into that side and get off this skull crushing phase. So Jill, like for you, like when you go and like work out, I know that you like to do a combination of both, but what do you lead more towards? Are you more of like that high rep kind of, are you drawn more to that, or do you like the idea of seeing that strength increase for yourself?
I don't know. It depends. Like if I've been, you know, babying those like 8 pounds, I'm like, okay, maybe it's time to like bump it up to, you know, 10 pounds. Let's see. But I don't know. I kind of stick with the high reps, you know, my usual weights. But then if I'm like, okay, you know, no sweat, I don't feel anything burning, like I'm not cussing enough, like I gotta, you know, up my weights just a little bit. Because I'm still, you know, I'm still trying to build muscle and, you know, lose fat. So I just kind of do it all.
I can do it all.
It's hard to keep track of what I do.
So much.
So much.
So then Ashley, for you, like with your, it's hard too, because we're instructors. And so we teach classes that might fit both needs of that. And so just depending on what you teach, but in that personal side, what do you lean more towards?
I mean, I think it kind of fluctuates. Like growing up, having been a figure skater, we were always very much told high reps, low weight, because everyone wants to be that nice, lean. Like if you're not the right body type, you kind of get like shunned in that area, in that sport, just because it is harder to do some of the rotations and different things when you're a little bit maybe curvier, or even just more of that like muscular type of body tone and shape. But as I have gotten kind of out of skating, like for myself personally, I do enjoy seeing like those gains in strength. I really like kettlebells. That's kind of my go-to if I were to pick any kind of like weight to use. Like I'm not a fan of like squatting on the squat rack for forever, but like I do like to see how much I can deadlift every once in a while, but I would rather do it in a way that's more challenging to me for my body, with like balance and strength and core, versus like, okay, well I can stand here and squat this for, you know, 1 to 3 reps, but it doesn't really like give me any satisfaction, because like when am I really going to do that like in real life? But I think also too is as you like get older and you get probably I think a little busier and you have less time, is it's harder to do some of those more strength-based workouts, because you have to rest for like 2 to 5 minutes between like every set. And so like trying to justify the amount of time you're at the gym with how much work you're getting done is like super hard for me to wrap my mind around. And so I don't know, I think I can go both ways, but learning to just to like program things where it's like, okay, well, if I am going to work strength, then I can do, stagger like different muscle groups or like upper body, lower body. So I'm not just standing there, on my phone for 5 minutes waiting to do my next set. Like that bothers the crap out of me. It doesn't make sense. And then it is kind of nice with those higher rep, lower weight things is you can just keep going. Like you really don't need much rest in between. Like you grab a drink and then you're ready to go right back into it. And I do like the feeling of both of them, because I feel like with strength, I don't get to that point of fatigue like you would in like a rip class or something where you're continuing to work that same muscle group until you really can't do it anymore, because you have to have more effort, if that makes sense, to do those like heavier lifts or moves. So it's not, I don't know, I like both, but I think I don't know, it's nice to see gains in like both things, to see like, oh, like I can use my 35-pound kettlebell and I'm still doing like 6 to 12 reps. But at the same time, then I also like seeing, like I'm not going to do that for like triceps. Like there's no way I'm doing like tricep extensions with a 35-pound kettlebell. So it's also kind of like, I don't know, realistic in terms of different muscle groups and areas. Like, yeah, for sure I can squat a ton, but I can't do a pull-up. I don't know.
Yeah. I think for me, what is a huge concern, which I know I've mentioned this before in another video, is just like injury too. I think likelihood of injury with higher weight, more weight, is more likely, especially in some of those, I just noticed that like in RIP, if I added an extra 10 pounds to my bar, and because we do quite a bit of repetitions in that class, I can do it for about half, but then I might feel my form going a little bit. I'm starting to compensate because it is getting heavy. And that's where I kind of tweak something. Obviously it's in a classroom setting, and if I were doing it on my own, I would know to stop, right? But when you're in class, you can't really stop. So I think that's my concern too. Like I would never walk over to the squat rack and like load up and be like, if I can just do one, because if I couldn't, I wouldn't want to get hurt, and I wouldn't want to embarrass myself for all of us that like work at the Y too. Like you don't want anyone to be like, oh no, did you just see her go down back there? Like I kind of stage myself for the right environment, and I do lean way more towards like that endurance side of things, because for what we do for work, we might be teaching 3 strength classes in a day, which is not what we would normally recommend for anybody really. But so we're thinking more of that longevity of being able to maintain our 8-hour shift at work. That's funny. Recording.
I don't know what happened.
Bloop. That's okay.
Lost the host.
It was just like connecting.
Yeah, you were frozen for a little bit.
Well, yeah. What you can probably do is just cut out everything that I just said. After, well, I don't even know what I said, but like after you stopped talking.
You were saying, the last thing I heard you say was longevity for an 8-hour shift or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess we can start there. Like that's our focus, is just maintaining our schedule, and being at home. It's just really hard for me to work out here. And if I'm in a normal setting when we were at work doing our stuff, I wouldn't come home and work out because I wouldn't need to. So that's kind of tough, but I do lean more towards like the less weight, because I like comfort zone. It's what I know. It's consistent. I can see results and I can feel results. But yet, like for me, it's being active all day. That is my goal. I don't want to work out at the gym for 2 hours lifting weights, and then for the rest of the day, like I have no energy to do anything else, or the next 2 days, like I'm super sore, like, because the next day I got to get back into it again. So I feel like I might be kind of stuck in a rut because I don't really get many gains. I don't really lose much. I just kind of stay right here, but that might change now with different, my job switching up a little bit, but you might see me back there like squatting out 500 pounds one of these days. You never know. Probably not. But hey, it's all good. Yeah.
I'd pay to see that.
Right? Like, let me know when that's happening.
Let me know when that's happening. I think everyone would be like huddling around and
Like, let's watch her.
right. I would just put like 5s on each side and add 2 zeros to each.
A little post-it note with the
Little
zero.
Post-it note. Yes.
No, it's 500.
It's 500, I promise. It's this new style weight that looks small but can be that heavy.
Super dense.
You guys want to share about our topic today, our low reps versus high reps?
No, just
No?
kind of design your workout to your goals. I know I try to go from textbook, like really following, like, oh, this is what you're supposed to do and this is what you're supposed to do. Half the time it doesn't work out or I lose interest. Like, find what works for you. Then you be more motivated to stick with it and continue doing it, other than, you know, finding this workout online or following something like you should be doing it. Then I lose interest and I'm like, no, this isn't working. I don't like it. So I have to, like, I'm very picky, and if I don't like something, it'll change my whole mood. So if I need to find a workout or a plan that works for me that I enjoy, because then I feel like I get more results, more success, and just more motivated to continue doing it. So just find what works for you. That's all I gotta say.
It's good advice. But you, Ashley, anything else that you want to add?
I think just switching it up and challenging yourself, especially during this time that we're all pretty much at home and maybe don't have access to a lot of strength equipment that we normally would. And so just getting creative with that too. And it's not like you need to have your rip bar or your squat rack. Like, there's so many different ways that you can challenge your body to gain strength, to gain endurance, whether it's, you know, using more balance and stability, or making your exercise like one-sided, or making your base of support smaller, just trying new things and adding in different things to challenge your body too. Because like you said, Jen, I think we do all, regardless of whether we work at the gym or not, if we're consistent gym goers, we do get stuck in a rut because we get comfortable and we like to do what we like to do. And that's okay, because you want to get into a good routine where you are being consistent. But at the same time, I think now is like a great opportunity to, you know, switch things up, try something new. And then you can go back to your routine at the gym, but you're probably going to see more gains now that you have switched things up and challenged your body in a new way. And now you're going, you know, back to something that you did, well, at this point, at least 30 days ago.
Yeah, exactly. Rough. It's good because it's like a forced change. Like, I mean, if we weren't put in this environment, we wouldn't be doing some of the things that we are now, or deciding to change things up. Because I mean, I know for me, I don't know why I'm more sore now working out from home than I was when I was actually working, because I would teach way more at the gym, but it was what my body like knew. And obviously rest days in between now. The workouts feel different because my environment is different. My flooring is different. I might be landing differently so I don't cause an earthquake in my house. You're just more aware of your body. And I think that really has changed too for me. I mean, and I know every video we do is all about legs pretty much these days. But I've been feeling it tremendously, like in my inner thighs and my glutes, and way differently than I have at the gym. So the forced change is good. It has been beneficial for me. I hate running. It's gotten me outside to do some different things that way too. So I think to stay positive, like every video we try to end with something positive and like encouraging you guys to stay motivated, but like, and almost accept this as a challenge. And I'm telling this to myself too, of like, change your routine now, get into another good routine for the next, you know, who knows how long this is going to be like this, but for the next little bit. And then when we get back to the gym, like Ashley said, your results will be, you know, more too. Like you'll just get new results, or you'll see the results that you got at your house. And yeah, I think it's good to be, change is hard, but it's a blessing in disguise, I think 99% of the time. So I'm taking advice. And I'm swallowing it.
Change is inevitable. It's the one
It
that
is.
we know will always happen. So
And I'm a person that actually likes change. I do. I like to change my schedule, my routine, like my house. I redecorate all the time. I love that. The change that I don't like so hard as much as like the stuff that you don't have control over. I like to change the things I control. It's
Yep.
the ones that are forced on me I don't like so much. But you know, everybody I think is like that. So
a little bit.
yeah. Well, I hope you guys at home got some information today, a couple laughs, you know, all that good stuff. And just some tips to maybe to take to your workouts at home or other ideas. Post in our comments, maybe other ways that you're trying new workouts at home with strength if you don't have weights at home. Put in the comments what you're using. You know, like I know my laundry soap, I don't even know how heavy that is, but it is heavy and it kind of looks like a kettlebell, right, Ashley? And my cat litter is 25 pounds and has a handle as well. I probably could do swings with that thing. Just make sure the lid is on tight. So, I mean, getting creative with what you have. I saw a video the other day with a girl that had gallon water bottles and she was doing exercises with that too. So even a bag full of magazines, textbooks, things like that that are heavy. Just get creative and let us know what you guys are doing at home and share it with everybody else. And someone might look at that and be like, oh, I didn't realize that I could put a bunch of magazines in a plastic bag and do some triceps with it. I haven't tried that yet, but you never know. I might.
Bag.
I might. Yeah, we hope you guys are staying safe, are taking care of yourselves, spending some good quality time with your family. We look forward to seeing you guys again soon. And again, post in the comments what you want to hear us talk about. We'll be back at you soon with another video. Have a great day, you guys. Bye.